What happens in the dark will always come to the light. A father has been arrested in the death of his toddler daughter in Central Florida after he fell asleep with her in a hot tub, authorities say. Deputies and fire rescue crews had responded to a home in Kissimmee around 3:30 a.m. Saturday after receiving a report of an unresponsive child who appeared to have drowned in a hot tub. The 20-month-old girl was taken to a local hospital where she was pronounced deceased. Detectives determined a family from Washington, D.C. was staying at the home, which was listed as an Airbnb rental. The girl's father, 33-year-old Reynard Huff, who is from D.C., said he'd brought her into the hot tub and fell asleep while holding her.
Investigators say he was actually holding the baby like this when she fell into the water.
It's Four Corners Airbnb.
He retrieved his 20-month-old daughter from a bedroom and took her into the hot tub.
That happened between 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning.
He then reported waking up to find his daughter unresponsive in his arms in the hot tub. Detectives determined that Huff was neglectful in her death and initially arrested him on a charge of child neglect causing great bodily harm. On Sunday, an additional charge of aggravated manslaughter of a child was added against Huff, the sheriff's office said. Huff is remaining behind bars at the time in jail, and the incident is still under investigation. I do have the formal affidavit in this case, so let's take a look at that and get some more details. On December 13th, 2025, at approximately 3:31 hours, dispatch received a 911 call reporting a non-breathing child who had drowned at 1836 Nice Court, Kissimmee, Florida. CAD notes indicate the child had been removed from the water and was foaming at the mouth. The child was transported to Celebration Hospital, where she was pronounced deceased at 4:37 hours. A crime scene was established. The deceased child was identified as a 1-year-old female, her date of birth, April 2024. Deputies made contact with the child's parents at the residence, Reynard Huff, biological father, and Alexis Perry, the biological mother. Information provided to first responders while life-saving measures were being rendered indicated that Reynard had been in the backyard jacuzzi with the daughter at approximately 3:20 a.m. He had consumed alcoholic beverages and fell asleep with the daughter positioned face down across his forearm. The jacuzzi was located outdoors and attached to a swimming pool. Upon waking, Reynard observed his daughter's face submerged in the water. Deputies observed alcoholic beverages at the scene consistent with the statements provided. At approximately 8:37 a.m., a recorded interview was conducted with Reynard. Later on in the day, after being read his Miranda rights and waiving them, Reynard stated that between 2 and 3 a.m., he entered the master bedroom where Alexis Perry was asleep with their other child, a 6-month-old infant. Reynard noted that he heard the 20-month-old daughter wanting to be with him and decided to take responsibility for her, at which point he became the sole caregiver for her. He then took her to the backyard hot tub. Reynard described his daughter as a healthy 1-year-old child who can walk. However, still unable to articulate wants and needs clearly, she has no diagnosed medical conditions or disabilities. At the time, she was neither injured nor had she received any injury prior to this date. Reynard advised that prior to entering the hot tub, he removed his daughter's soiled diaper. While in the tub, Reynard removed her top so it would not get wet. He stated she was completely unclothed and sitting on his lap while he was in the hot tub. Reynard reported that after approximately 20 minutes, he fell asleep while holding her. He estimated he was sleeping for 15 to 20 minutes. Reynard stated he awoke when he felt his daughter's head drop toward the water and immediately noticed something was wrong because she felt limp. After calling her name and receiving no response, Reynard went inside the room where Alexis Perry was sleeping. He admitted that he did not tell her they had been in the hot tub or that she may have drowned. Reynard further stated that although he did not feel tired prior to entering the hot tub, he began to feel sleepy as the effects of alcohol wore off. He admitted that alcohol may have contributed to his falling asleep while holding his daughter in the hot tub. Reynard also admitted to consuming alcoholic beverages and ingesting 2 different types of unknown narcotics prior to the incident. Huff was unable to provide any reasonable explanation as to why he took his 1-year-old child, who could not swim, into a hot tub outside the residence with a depth of approximately 37 inches at approximately 3 a.m. when the weather was approximately 55 degrees Fahrenheit, while he was feeling like he was coming off the effects of alcohol. Soon after Reynard gave his daughter back to her mother, Alexis Perry, Alexis immediately called 911 and began CPR. Unfortunately, all efforts made by paramedics and hospital staff yielded no results, and the daughter was pronounced deceased at the hospital. On December 14, 2025, the detective spoke with Orange County Medical Examiner's office, who advised that Dr. Filler performed the autopsy on the young girl, and they were able to determine the cause of death was drowning. Based on sworn statements obtained, Reynard Huff's post-Miranda admissions, the information obtained during the investigation, and the cause of death ruled by the medical examiner, there is probable cause to believe Reynard Huff violated the following Florida state statute. The statute is 782.07, subsection 3, aggravated manslaughter of a child, for when Reynard, the sole caregiver at the time, caused the death of his biological daughter, 1 year old, who was by culpable negligence of the forcible result of his actions, at which point the child would drown and was in grave danger. In the course of the manslaughter, the defendant caused the death of the child, as evidenced by the child being unable to breathe for a period of time and dying as a result. The Florida Statute 741.28 defines domestic violence as any crime causing injury to a family or household member. As a biological father of the 1-year-old victim, the defendant is a family member. Florida Statute 903.011 states that a defendant arrested for any act of domestic violence shall be held without bond until his first appearance. Therefore, the affiant requests a warrant for the defendant's arrest with no bond. That is the sworn to affidavit in this case. A local news station was able to get an exclusive interview with the family members of Reynard, so I'm going to play that to end this video. I will keep updated if there's any more information that comes out about this case. If you haven't already, please hit the plus sign to your right, give this a like and a reshare. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, I will see you in the next one.
And Stuart, as you can imagine, this family was absolutely devastated to hear this, and now they're grieving the loss of that beautiful 1-year-old girl. They are calling this a freak accident, while the sheriff's office says this was a series of decisions that could have been a preventable tragedy.
She's gonna be missed. Tremendous. She's gonna be very, very missed. Seeing her little butt running around. It's almost Christmas.
A family in mourning and in complete shock following the death of 1-year-old Azaria Huff. Osceola County investigators say she drowned in a hot tub at this Kissimmee vacation rental.
It's very hard. Losing a niece in that way is very hard. And then I'm very hurt for my brother because he is just distraught. He is tore up.
We spoke with Huff's mom and 2 siblings who tell me he was visiting from Washington, D.C.
He's hurting real bad and he needs to be back here with us.
The child was seen by the medical examiner who was able to determine the cause of death in this case was related to the drowning.
Huff went before a judge Monday afternoon where he is charged with aggravated manslaughter. Detectives say Huff admitted alcohol may have contributed to him falling asleep and that he had also ingested 2 different narcotics before getting into the hot tub.
Children in water can be so dangerous, and the parent's job is to make sure that all eyes are on them, focused, not under the influence, so that they can keep their kids safe.